Yeah, we're live on Instagram. I can see us on Instagram.
Okay, so
I can see us
is
on
everything
Instagram.
and is
Yeah,
everything good? Is everything
very
clear?
good. Very good. Let me go to Facebook. On Facebook. We're live on Facebook. We're live on
Okay.
Facebook. Um, Instagram,
Okay,
Facebook.
so I guess I just can't see you, or I will watch you from my LinkedIn,
Okay. Yeah, I can see us on
maybe.
LinkedIn too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. We're
Yeah,
good to
I'll
go.
just watch us from LinkedIn and on YouTube as well.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode seven. I mean, it's not episode seven, episode four of Coaching of the Future. And this is the last episode for 2025. It's been an exciting journey so far. And as you watch the replay or as you join live, we're hoping to get your questions, get your comments, your contributions so that you join the conversation and we can hear your thoughts on today's topic and every other topic that you feel is relevant to your coaching practice. Or if you're not a coach, maybe you're thinking of becoming a coach and you have questions. What does it entail? How do you position yourself for 2025? And what do you need to get ready? Today, specifically, we're dealing with the topic coaching the future leader, skills that matter now, which is a great piggyback of uh, Elkan's Africa Coaching Week, which our fantastic coach David was a part of. And I'm sure he also has some gist for us regarding that because he was able to meet up with coaches. So, with me here is Coach David Adeoye Abodure, and he's your unfair advantage, an ultimate game changer. As an award winning coach with expertise in agile transformations, project and program management, business analysis, and cybersecurity, his multifaceted competencies deliver insights that drive results for individuals, teams, businesses, organizations, and community. And my name is Falake Igodaro. I'm a digital marketing strategist and an integrative business coach. I help businesses build profitable marketing and communication systems through content distribution and lead generation systems. So, to get started today, I have a few questions and we're talking about skills. But before then, Coach David, how has your week been? And um,
Awesome.
yeah.
Super awesome. Enjoyed myself. I had the blessing of being with many coaches at the 4 Points by Sheraton
Hmm.
on Monday, and that was a lot of fun.
On Sunday.
Sorry, on Sunday, I beg your pardon, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We,
Hmm.
we, we interacted, we bonded, loads of things to share, amazing people, amazing work that's been done there. I mean, the quality of conversations were very deep and impacted the future of coaching, and that's what my joy really is.
Awesome. So, to get started with our conversation, we're talking about skills today. And that is something that I noticed. We have a lot of soft skills. I mean, we're coaches, we have soft
Mm,
skills.
yeah.
We do the emotional intelligence, and we have where some of us are empaths, and we have the leadership skills. But In the new AI age, what skills truly defines the future leader? Would you say emotional intelligence or strategic intelligence? And what skill are we underrating right now?
Hmm. All those skill sets you mentioned are all needed in the future. Emotional
Mm-hmm.
intelligence, strategic intelligence, all of those guys are needed. I think the one that is overlooked that we would need are the ones that I need to focus on. We need to master what I call patience of listenership, not just
Okay.
active listening, but the ability to be patient through very complicated conversations for a longer time and being able to make sense out of it, especially in a world where attention span is really dwindling. Those who can listen to people well from diverse backgrounds and not let the culture play into them to bring them down will survive the coming days.
Okay, I hear you talking about listening skills. And my experience is, I would say listening skills are important, yes. But then when you now look at the boom of podcasts, podcasts are not short form content. Podcasts are long form content. We have some 3 hour podcasts, right? A Joe Rogan podcast is about 2 hours. Sometimes it's 3 hours. Sometimes when he has Elon Musk. And then we have the Honest Bunch podcast, sometimes 2 hours, 3 hours as well. People are listening as they do other things, laundry and whatnot, but people are listening to the end because I read the comments. So, um, would you say it's an attention span issue or is it something else?
It's an attention span issue, first of all. People could cope with long hours of listening before now. Now, the same person who used to listen to news for 5 minutes at a go, 1 hour press review, can't even sit down still 20, 30 minutes. Generally, despite the interest or no matter how interesting the material is, the person reading will get fatigued at some point. I want to do something else. What we are seeing is that even for materials that people love, attention span is also narrowing compared to what was before. So it suffice to say, across the spectrum, attention span is narrowing. We are introducing a very powerful spin. Can it be an attention span problem or an attention arresting problem? Because the receiver of attention is the receiver. The person who triggers attention is the one who needs to do more work.
Mm-hmm.
Ensure that there are vibrant attachment areas where the party they are sending the signals to can interact. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Attention is a new game, and it must be attention by design or design attention. When you design what information do I want to pass into this person's mind, you script and you put the agenda in place so that it will land the attention, what you want to say in time will land exactly where the attention span is. Attention span is upper limit and lower limit. Let's say it's 3 minutes. In between that span, you must insert your information as quick as
Yeah.
possible. If you speak more than that, you risk some loss.
Mm,
Even for a material that someone could watch 12 hours before, they barely can do an hour of the same materials anymore.
mm.
Some people like some materials for 2 hours. Now they could barely do 30 minutes because of attention span and attention deficiency. But the core central love of the idea is still there.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they've moved on. It's just that the mind wanders faster and quicker nowadays.
Yeah. I get what you mean by the mind wandering faster. And I asked the question on, so you mentioned attention span, and then part of the question said strategic intelligence. And
Oh,
I took note of that because when we're building our coaching practice, there's always, because we have multiple abilities and multiple passions, there's
mm-hmm,
always this trap of wanting to do everything at once. And there's also that trap of seeing a successful coach that is in their year 20. You now think that the strategy that that year 20 coach is using is the same strategy that you need to use as a coach in your year 5. So I would say that for 2026, a lot of coaches need to be more strategic with their execution. It's not that we're saying don't have a big vision. You can have your big vision, but then in your execution, you need to execute one step at a time within your capacity, and then you grow.
mm-hmm.
So that is one skill that I would say, that strategic intelligence that coaches need. So now, my next question is: are today's leaders over relying on confidence when the real skill needed in 2026 is adaptability? I ask this question because looking at just the conversation and how this year has been an overload of new tools, new ways of doing things, right? It's possible that some coaches are feeling like, oh, I've been doing this for the past 5 years, for the past 10 years, and it's been working. So there's no point changing anything, is working. But then what happens to all the new toys that have been released this year and just the new ways of doing things? So how does adaptability come in, and what do coaches really need to adapt? People say adapt, but like how?
Adaptability versus what?
Adaptability versus confidence, saying that because a way has been working for me, so I'm confident in my skills right now, in the results. So, let's just keep going the way it's been going.
At the end of the day, there are a few questions. Why should you change a working formula? Except we're going to make very, very heavier money. We shouldn't change the working formula. I mean, why not? Since um, movies, since our lives as coaches, I'm preparing for a movie presentation tomorrow. Since our lives as coaches are compartmentalized into seasons and cycles, some changing or some change would happen. Some things would change and some things would not change. Wisdom is to know what serves us per time and how much changes are needed by what or where in the equation. In the business you're in, there is the department that must change like yesterday, and the ones that will continue to change little by little, and the ones that it will take a long while for there to be a necessity for the change.
Hmm.
What spectrum? Where are you? And it's not just changing for changing sake. It is a game of being more relevant. So this change is actually resilience, and refusing to change is not resilience. That's crass, open stubbornness, in my opinion.
Mm,
Being obstinate and not reading signals. If you read signals, your body language will move. When your body language moves, you have achieved a change. We also now reinforce that to make the change more permanent, or give a reward or an anchor system to make the change more permanent. But what's the bigger point we are making? The bigger point we are making is that at the end of the day, both resilience and being stoic go hand in hand. There's what to be resilient about, there's what to be stoic about, what to not allow for any fickle other opinion, and there's what to actually carefully, deliberately allow for interpretations. I mean, there are many, many. Let me give you a very touchy example. I am. a Christian in Nigeria, but I can tolerate people of other views. Now, resilience will mean the ability to have Muslims much more stronger in my space, yet I'm able to function as a human being. Although somebody will see it as stubbornness. So he's stubborn. Why is it trying to show off? No. I'm just being myself and being resilient enough to adapt to changes. This resilience that makes you unbendable. It was Darwin who said it's not the smartest of species that survive, but the strongest or the most adaptable. So that in that case, adaptation is a proof of capacity. So what are we saying? You will meet such conversations. Must meet that this tension in your coaching career. You
Mm-hmm.
must choose resilience, which does not in any way mean being obstinate or not taking correction or not taking direction. No, 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 no. It can involve clarifying, which a lot of people don't want to talk too much. It can involve doing stuff mentally, but at the end of the day, it cannot be that this is how I am and this is what it is. We are not changing our ways.
Mm,
And it cannot be we are changing so much that nobody can keep up with us. So the fine art of even know the speed of change and select the candidate opportunities that people need for their lives and their industries requires some patience
yeah,
and requires mental resilience.
yeah, very true. So adaptability you mentioned also depends on times and seasons, right? So in that case, what skills do you believe future leaders are avoiding developing, and why do you think that avoidance exists?
A lot of future leaders are stuck in why change a winning formula. They want to make more money all the time. So they are not comfortable for their any a jot of their revenue or finances to dip. They don't want to take small losses and then take big wins. A lot of them want to just keep going at the level and they're happy that between the time that they did the job there, nothing happened. There was no event.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something called the tyranny of the present or the tyranny of the immediate. Very powerful. That tyranny does not allow you see anything else except what you are right there and then, and it shuts everything else down from you. Leaders must be able to shut down those kind of things so that they must maintain top level executive focus so that they can see where everybody is going on behalf of everybody. So CC
Yeah,
leaders need to embrace people who are able to help you deeper and stronger to master the terrain in front of you. You must have your personal coach budget. If you're a CEO of a business, you must have your productivity coach number. You must have your personal um, inspiration budget documentation, and you must be ready to reflect on it when you come back to civilization. What did I do? How come I said this? Why did I think this? What did I write? Because when you do that, the quality of interaction with your clients will start getting better. What's my
mm-hmm.
point? Ostrich as a coach,
Yeah,
you must grow flexibility. If you ignore flexibility, it's at your own peril.
yeah. Um, I would also say organizational organizational capacity in the sense of seeing the coaching practice as an organization and not just, oh, I'm helping people. And so it's me and my clients, and I'm coaching my clients. Because I find that there's some little organizational, I mean, I wouldn't say little because they make a big difference, in terms of organizing work, organizing time, organizing teams, working better with teams, and making sure that teams are well equipped to function properly within the organization. And that's a reflection on of the organizational capacity of the coach or of the leader. So,
Hmm.
in the coaching community, we run a lot of master classes. We sell digital products, we're mostly online. And it's so interesting that you find that, especially working with people who are making things happen, that some coaches just don't, you can tell that they don't organize their documents, they don't organize their paperwork, they don't, just by virtue of they're constantly looking for things, right? Constantly looking for links, constantly looking for documents, constantly looking for access to their own platform, constantly looking for the the things that the assets that ought to drive their company. But as long as they see their practice as a one-man business and it's just me,
Hmm.
then they don't think it's they don't see the value in
Mhm.
being able to organize their assets. Number one, develop their assets. For example, if you say you develop a framework, then you obviously have your research, you have your testing, you have your clients, you have so many assets, and organizing that and making that easily accessible in different formats and being able to access it at any time when somebody requires it. It's so important in building an organization and not just, oh, my coaching, this is my small coaching practice. So that is one skill that I have seen coaches really, really need to develop. So my next question is, what is one skill you wish someone had taught you earlier on your leadership journey, and how would it have changed your path?
I have many skill sets, but maybe for me, one of them is active listening.
Okay.
The ability to, despite knowing and despite being abreast, I listen to people a lot, especially subjecting myself to the mental form that I'm also a learner.
Mm-hmm.
Because coaches are psycho-emotionally biased to being the one everybody comes to meet. When it comes to you as a coach, it requires some extreme humility to listen genuinely, not because you want to respond and give a correct answer, but you want to listen to empathize and be in the person's shoes. It's a big one for me. The other part for me is that the amount of energy coaches apply into tools. The tools were made for man.
Mm-hmm.
You as a human being will work the tool. The tool is not the tool is not a be all and end all. The tool is to be tweaked and to be fed back.
Mm-hmm.
If you find a tool, deploy the tool quickly and be ready to use that tool to become 2.0. Deploy it again and let it become 3.0, because the interaction between the coach and this our tool is what will produce value.
Yeah.
That interaction must become matured. That interaction must become express. You see, one of the big challenges of the coming days will be disconnected interfaces between all these AI tools and all the advent of technology and the human being. There must be neuro machine touch in between your tool and your capacity as a coach. They must touch each other. That touching of each other must be communicated. Do me this, then you give it this way. Do me that, then the machine gives it that way. Do me this. And you must use that to solve problems on the smaller scale before you come and use it on the outside. Lest we have a failure of framework catastrophe on the outside. So coaches will need to master their tool, especially at the point of delivery, and the size and the usefulness of that interaction at the genuine point of history. Any other time or any other thing that um, doesn't allow you to master your armor before you go to war as a coach, drop it quickly.
Mm.
Let me say a third one. So coaches are developing tools, but they are not integrating. That's an example of something they're not a skill set they're not doing. Integrating with your tool or the
What do you mean
tools
by
that you have.
that?
Meaning that use the tool very well and let it tool give you feedbacks of the
Mm.
gaps. Let the tool explain to you and interpret itself to the client and let the client give you feedback. Use all of that to create a 2.0, 3.0, 4.0.
Yeah.
The fourth one is that the third one I think is that coaches will have to eliminate bias, will have to work hard against bias. You don't even know the boundaries of your bias in the coming days. I mean, how do you know whether this is a real video or is a fake video?
Right.
Because of that, you don't know what to choose in terms of response.
Mm.
Would you choose to deny it altogether? In listening to that signal, would you choose to interrogate it deeper or would you choose to let it run? No, it can be, there's chaos theory in negotiations. What do you want this to achieve for you? So those are my three thoughts around skills that we are not looking at versus skills that we should or how we should perform some tasks that we are doing now as coaches. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you said integrating with the tools, my mind went to understanding data, collecting data, then understanding the data, knowing how to clean the data, understanding the data, and listening to the data goes in hand with cleaning the data, which goes back to your point on listening. So you can listen to your people, and then the people are also speaking through the data. So if you know how to interpret the data, you know how to filter the data without the biases, then the data can give proper information on next steps, strategy, how to grow the business, what is the next solution to provide, etc. So
Yes.
that's the go ahead.
No, no, I said yes, yes, you're again on point.
Yeah.
Go on about data. I have one or two interesting points about data. Go on.
No, please share your thoughts on data because it just goes, that was just all I was thinking about when you said tools. Because like coaches run ads, coaches are producing content, right? Coaches have CRMs, customer relationship management systems, and you can have those tools, but do they understand how best to get the best out of those tools? When you run the ad, it gives you feedback. Are you only thinking about feedback in terms of ROI? Like, okay, how much money did I get back from this 100K ad? Or are they seeing the value in the data? Because there are so many metrics um, that are being measured in terms of doing master classes and doing live sessions, conferences, whatnot. There's so much data that's coming in. People are telling you what they want. People are responding through by opening or clicking on your links or responding to your emails. And this is saying something. Your own market is speaking to you. And so your ability to understand the data, interpret it in a way that works for your business is very, very key.
I totally agree with you. Um, One of the big challenges we have is what the overhyping of data.
Okay. In what way?
Yes. Data can be told what to say, data can be manipulated. There's a whole big energy around, oh, data collection, data gathering, data collection, but data can be manipulated. I mean, data analysts will tell you it's one of the cheapest things to do. You can make data tell a certain story,
Mm-hmm.
which is your story, especially in a world where we're in a deep fake world where
Yeah.
what you see is not what you get. People can say anything they want through data. It's a game of presentation
Mm-hmm.
and narration of the data. Management accountants have always done this at board meetings. They want to say something and they want to dull your attention, for example, from hearing something else that's also in the presentation. They will hype a certain piece of data with very good graphics and presentation. And the main point will just be reported as a postscript. It's in the report, they've reported it. So beyond data, importance and pattern recognition will be superior. And we live in a make and there are people that go about, and this is all the way in data, all the way from micro data to macro data. There's micro data, there's meso, that's data in the middle, and there's macro, big data, all the way across uh, the spectrum. And there's something like a tetra or giga data. If there's anything higher than those, or you want to bring that spectrum up into a bigger roller scale, um, people can, human beings can say what they want to say. We live in a world where people are being misrepresented, people are being lied against, and it's gone a notch higher now. People that have no, I mean, somebody took a picture with someone just to prove that I know him. The aim of the picture is to increase believability in the story they will now craft. So discernment will be superior to data because what you see is not what you get.
Mm-hmm.
And what you get at the end of the day is a byproduct of what you believed. And your belief, you can be misled. So as a coach, in active listening and in taking conversations and doing your coaching work, insight will be superior to what data is saying. The skill of discernment, the skill of insight. And there are people who are, and whole corporations are into this. It will shock you how much depression and how much happiness Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, how much of those platforms are now responsible for people's happiness and
Yeah.
sadness. Now that's data feeding to people's souls. So if you're interacting with the person and the person says, for example, I just feel dissatisfied with life.
Mm.
All my friends are successful. You may totally not be able in your question and answer sessions, you may totally not be able to reach the point where you will find out that it is a social media trigger that's causing that feeling. So your discernment, can you see how discernment and insight will be more superior to data right in front of you?
Yeah.
Because we live in a make-believe world, platforms have gone gaga, people can actually edit any video, any kind of video now can be created. You can hear Barack Obama, you can hear Trump calling your name now. It's just too much. Trump will start talking to you and say, I know that's you are doing. I know we're going to do this business together. Maybe let's gather this
Yeah.
2 million. We want to use that to register you in the Federal Department of Defense because we want you to be a credible supplier. And if you're not careful, you think that you have gotten to the White House. No, you are still in the greenhouse.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon. So, what's my point? In a world where people are being misrepresented and lied against, and in a world where platforms are ballooned, and we are generating data maybe at the speed of breath of air, discernment and insights beyond data will be far more critical for coaches of the future. Um, Things like understanding cognitive load.
Mm-hmm. Tell us more about that.
That means that people are being streamed all sorts at so that our nerve endings are getting stressed. Our nerve endings are getting stressed. Look, ask people what we said on that day at the on Monday, as on Sunday evening. Do a survey now of those that were in the room. People are going to start struggling, but they can remember the one of yesterday. It never used to be that bad. We knew what happened last week. There was a time not too long ago when we knew what happened last week. We knew what happened. We can say, I was at that conference. Then the lead speaker
Yeah.
spoke about this. But now we attend conferences on Sunday and on Wednesday, Thursday. We're all scratching our head because new conversations have come. So many new conversations. And it's so strong that we are moving from keynoters to fireside chats and panels. That's because attention span is getting smaller, and the game now is moved from conversations to high points. Sorry,
Mm,
from high to conversations. We now live in a conversational world than high points. And the problem with conversation or conversations is that they can lead anywhere.
yeah.
But high points has the structure of a whole speech where you come and then you speak one, you say two, and then you build towards a direction. But with the
Yes.
conversation or things like fireside chat, what you will
Yeah.
notice, which is good, which sounds like what we say in coaching, but you can land anywhere. The
Yes.
other part, your original intention. Look, people that question that do interview panels, I'm always uh, uh, emotionally on their side because what they plan to get,
Mm,
even if you were to plan what you wanted to say and you had rehearsed and all of you have you've rehearsed it, you've choreographed it, it's ready to
yeah.
go. When the first, second, third, fourth questions come, everything just flies out of the room.
Mm,
So mental consistency of insights and pattern recognitions in the midst of that sea of conversation, the ability to land continuously on what you wanted to achieve in the conversationings so that you can get the result or outcome you're looking for will be far more important than engagement and conversation itself.
I mean, you could also argue that, these conferences, the idea is to give snippets. The idea is to share an idea or share 1,001 ideas, and then people should catch the one that they can catch, you
That's
know.
fantastic. But there was a time when the conference were much more rallied around themes. When the theme and the conference and everything was so strong and on point. I'm only saying that I'm noticing that we are changing. I am an observer of trends. Now, is the change good or not? That's not my major concern. Don't forget, we're identifying the skill sets that are very important for the future.
Mm-hmm.
That conversationally, for example, is good, but the
Yeah.
ability to identify the high point of conversations and tie that together to insights, the
Yes.
ability to discern what's going on in the mass chaos of all the plenty ideas and notice a
Mm-hmm.
consistent trend that's applicable and as actionable for profit and loss and for the persons listening to you and vice versa, beg your pardon, will be more important than conversation and engagement.
Yeah.
Do you
I mean, I think,
understand?
yeah, yeah. Um, so you've mentioned discernment so many times, and discernment is something that's also mentioned in the church over and over again. But then, how do you build that skill of discernment? How does it work? Because people would have heard it so many times, and some people think that they have high discernment, but they don't. And some people just know that they have a thing, but then maybe they don't know that it's called discernment. And some people know that they don't know how to tell left from right, and they really, really need to learn. How can a future leader develop that skill?
Yeah, some people also think that they are designing, but what's happening is that they are paranoid.
Exactly.
That's another category. Um, Discernment is a faculty of the human soul.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take that back and rephrase it. Discernment is a faculty of the human being, and the human being, as we know, is tripartite. There's a spirit that is who you really are, that lives in the central processing unit, that lives in a body, and that has a central processing unit where your logic, your imagination, and everything exists. So there are three dimensions theoretically of existence: your spirit, your soul, and your body. So there's discernment of the body,
Yeah.
and there's discernment in the realm of the mind, and there's discernment in the spirit. Now, discernment in the body is easy. You learn that one through the five senses.
Mm.
Signals come to you, your body interprets it. You know this is warm, this is hot. If you
Yeah.
don't learn it easily, after a while as a baby, you touch something very hot, you know it's hot, you don't go back to it. That's discernment.
Yeah.
The ability to understand. So that's in the body, because the training of the body is easier. In like manner, discernment of the mind is possible. There are several materials on specifically discernment of the
Mm.
mind, and every coach should invest in them because it will be a rare skill set for the future. And especially in a world where, because of AI, coaches will deniche and reniche, meaning that wealth coach will become worry coach because human soul is not compartmentalized. Worry coach will become fitness coach, and fitness coach will become marital coach
Yeah.
because the human soul cannot be compartmentalized.
Yeah.
And when these problems come to people, although I don't agree with that, I think we should all niche down, but it's okay. My point is, every coach in a world where AI is now available to do some things, every coach should develop discernment skills in the mind for starters. Because the mind and the spirit are one. As you discover how discernment works in the mind and how your own discernment gift works, and you come in tune more with yourself and your being,
Mm-hmm.
your spiritual discernment capacities to start increasing.
Yeah.
But for many people, discernment is still at level of the body, which is the five senses, what they can hear, what they can feel, what they can see. But we know that people can lie, for example. How would you know? People come to business with you. I have a client who someone just took all of her database. She has about 5,000 a day, and one lady took it from her. She was really crying. And then I asked her a simple question: didn't you feel it?
Mm.
I asked on the faculty of her mind. She said, yes, but she charmed me. I said, with just said, she said with that behavior, she was very friendly, very kind, very nice. So an external signal from the body masked the signal from our mind.
Yeah.
So the ability to train that signal from the mind will be important in the coming days. And there are many books and many materials. There are whole teachers, if I so in NLP, how to know what somebody is thinking versus the reality of what they are saying. We have that module in NLP. And there are other many allied modules and people who have done research in this area. So every coach will need to invest in that because we live in a world where what people say and what they mean are two different things, and you must be able to hear beyond their audio.
Yeah. I know a coach who said, don't do what I do, do what I say, because he knows that most times he doesn't do what he's saying, even though what he's saying is the right thing. But then he's not able to do most of it. So he just tells people, if you see me doing the
It's
wrong
not
thing,
only
don't copy what I'm doing. Just,
it's not only coaches, a lot of leaders are like that now in our world.
mm,
Even all the way into, I'm sorry, church and everywhere else,
yeah,
people are saying one thing, On the ground, they are another thing.
Yeah.
Discernment, thank you. One of the lessons of discernment is when you watch people's actions,
Yes.
a lot of revelation it would hit you without bias at the beginning. Just watch them curiously. They will act out who they are eventually. It's a matter of time. No matter how patient, they will always act out.
Yeah. So that makes me think about your earlier point because I have a question here on pattern recognition. You had mentioned pattern recognition earlier, right? And now that we're talking about discernment and recognizing patterns, when you look at problem solving skills and then you look at building a stronger pattern recognition skill, how I mean pattern recognition is also a means of solving problems. So how can leaders develop a stronger pattern recognition skill such that, like this lady that you mentioned, she allowed her senses block her mind perception, and so she made the wrong decision, and she was,
She allowed a bodily motion, a smile,
yeah.
a charming to
And
mask
yeah,
a
a lot
signal
of
from the
leaders
mind.
have fallen for that. I know that I've fallen for that, but now I've learned my lesson. There are just some cues that I see, and I'm like, no, this is this is not for me. But then there's still a lot of leaders that don't know how to do that, and how can they develop stronger pattern recognition skills?
Um, First of all, it's a continuous game.
Yeah.
You won't stop it. And number two, give yourself time to learn it,
Yeah.
and there will be mistakes. For me, I never conclude any conversation. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter what people do to me. I don't conclude in my mind. I've not concluded it. Um, people, some people can't believe. There are some of my friends that I don't talk to anymore like before, but I'm totally cool in the mind with them. Every occasion I meet them is a new. I wipe off all my data and I treat that new occasion as if it's the first time I'm meeting them, and they are not like that to me. Here's what I've observed repeatedly: it will land there, and I wasn't expecting it. I was totally at zeroed my mind to a clean orientation, but it will land there.
Mm.
They will do something. Remember, if a signal is there, it is there. If it's not there, it's not there. If someone is signaling, if someone is transmitting a signal at you, and you keep cleaning that signal off in your mind, you will eventually acknowledge that signal. After a certain, it can be 10,000 hits. I mean, somebody's transmitting at you like this. It can be at level 5. It can be after 10. It can be after 20. But there's a time that that signal will get clear to you. Although you must maintain objectivity of measurement throughout one to that time, which is, oh, I mean, there are people who have never for once, for example, felt that we're at loggerheads, but they keep transmitting competitive energy.
Mm.
They will always find means. And so every time we meet, I will zeroize it and I'll be very neutral and very friendly and and they will eventually land there. In fact, it will be so strong and so real that I'm always shaking my head and, oh my God, I wish it was a different outcome.
Yeah.
Because that's how that person is predominantly. How someone is in their mind or subconscious towards you will always filter out to you.
Yes.
They are predominant, you see, because the mind and the body are one. Whatever is in their mind towards you, their body will act it out.
Yeah.
Whatever. And it will have an adjective. But a lot of us are not in the moment enough. If you close your eyes now, every time you interact with someone, as you're finishing that interaction, just close your eyes. What does this interaction say? Some adjectives to come, jot them down randomly, and then forget that book. Wait for another 1 month or 2 months, interact with them.
Yeah.
Do this for 5, 6 occasions. You will find out that you were using the same adjectives
Yeah.
on those occasions. Take those adjectives and then test them. Test, you find out that you are right.
Yeah.
I have seen this repeatedly. And there's another litmus test. If I have a feeling towards you, or I have a way I look at you, if like
Mm-hmm.
if I meet someone else about you to that person, you
Yeah.
will feel that same energy you had with me.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if somebody gives you a word about your staff now,
Mm.
that this staff is not loyal to your business, please don't ignore it. Because a second and a third person will validate that without knowing each other. We
Yeah.
validate the same signal. And that is again, that's my style. So that I'm not, oh, maybe I'm paranoid, maybe I'm totally a
Mm.
paranoid. So I'll keep quiet. It's never long. Another party will corroborate exactly, totally unsolicited, totally unprovoked. Then I do something, I clean it again in my mind. Oh,
Yeah.
that person, that it won't be long. By level three, level four, in one particular case, 10 persons came back with the same signal. So if I ever open up and I say this thing about this person, I've also tested it by ensuring that I was patient because I'm trying to learn how my discernment faculty works. So when I enter a meeting or a business room,
Mm.
empirically I have factors. Look, if I enter a room now, the most arrogant person in the room, the most egotistic person, the kindest persons, those adjectives, I can see it easily. But I will suspend my judgment. It won't be long in the presentation. Somebody coughs. This kindest person will say, "Oh, sorry." Everybody will
Yeah.
keep quiet. Who say what? But this kindest person will say, "Oh, sorry about that." Somebody drops their pen. This kindest person in the room will move and pick it up. In
Yeah.
a 5 day training, repeatedly, this person will keep repeating the act of kindness without, and I will not say it until the last day.
Mm.
That's how it is because people seldom change their habits. You
Yeah.
understand? And so when I interact with people, I think I'm sure for me, if I conclude and I say this person or these persons are like this, oof,
Mm.
so far. But what I've done over the years is I will not still conclude. I will allow other neutral interactions. Very nice. I will allow it. Look, I can wait for 10 years just to prove to myself that I knew I was right. Now, not because I wanted to gloat at the person, I'm training my discernment, remember. Because a day is coming in the future when everything will rest upon that your ability for discernment, when the stakes will really become very high.
Yeah.
And if you did not know how to train your discernment before that time, then you're going to be in problem.
Yeah.
But the other part that's uncomfortable is when people now feel that you're not forgiving or you're bitter. No, 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 no. That's not to do with forgiveness or bitterness. It's just that
Mm.
you are coming for the jugular. Now, there's a category of persons who say things like, even if you know people are going to hurt you, let them hurt you. My next question to
Mm.
them, oh yeah, there are people like, some people even hide it in even people that hide it in coaching and some in scriptures. Some will say,
Mm.
God created Judas to actually lift Jesus up. So should you allow
I
people
see.
to hurt you and open your flank? Some people say this kind of thing. So my question to them is that are you a friend of this person or are you happy they hurt me? Number two,
Right.
number two, everybody, Jesus Christ died so that nobody else will die. I will not allow Judas use me as teaching practice. But I
Abby.
said of that, I said of that to all of us to say discernment and insight will be far more superior to data and our tools because tools are now look this evening now you can generate 1,000 coaching tools from any AI tool. To this
Yeah.
evening now you can have 1,000 tools. This life now
Yeah.
is level by level. It's what you want.
Yeah.
So beyond that point, what would we how would we ensure effectiveness and value
Yeah.
beyond the tool? Let me rest. You're the one that asked me about discernment, and that's why I told you example of my discernment models.
Yeah, because it's very key. As if we're going to ask, so when you entered the room at ACW, what was your discernment telling you? Because what I'm hearing
Oh,
now is that wait, before you answer, what I'm hearing now is that um, self leadership is very important. Before you can lead others, you have to be able to lead yourself. And leading yourself means that you're able to master who you are. And when you're able to master who you are, then you can start to project yourself to the world. So when you were in the room at the gala, what was what was the reading you were getting in terms of the individuals and in terms of the future of the coaching industry in Nigeria? This would be our closing question.
Very positive energy. People were really curious about the future. People wanted to know what was going to happen. There were a couple of uncomfortable moments for me
Okay.
when I was asked questions around when some questions came up, and I knew that that answer was not what I was going to agree with. I can give you, and over the years, I've learned not to follow the tide,
Yeah.
because I want to be everyone's friend, and there's there's this quiet tendency. People say, "Oh, he always does like he's too no." No, it's not. It's not. I'm just a very rigorous person about. I don't want all of us to make a mistake. I'm just passionate
Yeah.
about us knowing the road, and some people cannot appreciate you're doing too much. Why is he doing too much? Why is he trying to show off? No, we're going to make serious mistakes. And I'm not, I'm what, it's not about show off. So I was in an HR group before I come to ACW to say the point about the same. About, before COVID, they were talking about AI. And they said, we won't lose our jobs. That before AI comes to Africa, that's going to be 2030, 40.
Oh
That
my
we
goodness.
nobody will lose their jobs. There was an HR group that was saying this. I was part of the HR group. This is about 2018, 19, 20, I think.
Mm.
Way before COVID, I told them in that group, I said, stop. AI is already in your mailboxes.
Yeah.
You're already using auto suggestion in your mailboxes. This AI is not coming to Nigeria soon. The same, I was in a conference of the same group of my very good friends a few weeks ago, and this 2 3 weeks ago, and we were talking comfortably, and I reminded them of that WhatsApp conversation. Some people in the group faced me. They say we should relax. That yeah, it's not coming soon. That there's still indigenous thinking. I said you're talking. I said what is the trend for 2026? They say yeah, there'll be more increase in AI. I'm like eh. So people agree because I remember that was a conversation when I was telling them.
Yeah.
I would rather that we prepare well. I'm not showing up that day when I
Yes.
was telling them that AI, I was telling them all the ways AI was already with us. So let me go to ACW. There's some conversations that people were having in the room, and then my good brother said something there. And it took me a lot of energy to take an exception
Mm.
because I didn't want to really rough short, but I said, excuse me, that because today there are not less than 30 videos on YouTube that show that machines are now mastering emotions. For like
Yes.
machines are now mastering emotions. So when you
Yeah.
hear comments from coaches like AI cannot take the place of emotions, AI cannot comprehend emotion, it's not true. It is
Yeah.
not true. And I say that with some pain because I understand where that is coming from, and I'm not trying to show off. But if we go down that lane, we won't be able to do what we're supposed to start doing now. So
Yeah.
I have to take a respectful bow and say, please,
Yeah.
totally sorry for taking this opposite route. I hope you understand me. And I got the permission of this, my brother, to say, yeah, you can say your mind. This is it. I'm an engineer by training. Once you can reduce anything to a mathematical function, it has entered the realm of
Yeah.
dreams. As far back
Mm-hmm.
as far back as 10 years ago, the NHS in England had used scales to measure level of pain on a scale of
Yeah.
1 to 10. They will tell you on the markers, are you pain level one, pain level two, pain level three? Is pain not an emotional feeling? Or doesn't pain have part of the emotional part of it? Now, once you can put it into a scale, a mathematical scale, it has entered the realm of machines. Today, machines are already being trained what sadness is, what happiness is. The videos are on YouTube. There are devices that when you come in the morning, they look at your face. I haven't calibrated for like for the past 1 or 2 years. Some of those machines are almost commercial. They say, you're dull today. Are you feeling emotionally okay? So what else is remaining?
Yabi.
Because there is machine learning and deep machine learning.
Mm.
Even if machines were that incapable of understanding emotions or comprehending emotions, because of machine learning and deep machine learning, they will learn. My prediction is that by year 2036 at the maximum, if not 2030, we will have full emotional integration
Yes.
be- between man and machine. We've
Yeah.
not gotten we've not got to the point where our nerve endings, you know that emotions are transmitted by neural impulses. It's an
Yeah.
electric
Yeah.
because an electric signal, that's the realm of machines.
Yeah.
It's an electromagnetic signal, it's a pulse, it's an electric signal that transmits emotions.
Yeah. You
Because
could
of
also
that,
say that it's electric and chemical in terms of, dopamine, oxytocin, which can be artificially manufactured.
this oxytocin and dopamine, before you can feel it, it
Yeah.
will turn to electromagnetic impulse. It
Mm-hmm.
is signals, like electrical signals. Those
Yeah.
electrical those electrical signals, if you touch an interface, it
Mm.
can measure that electrical signal, the
Yeah.
intensity of level of it. You can set up an experiment and feed all that info into a machine, and the machine can say you are 60% happy or you are mild happy. And before you
Yeah.
know it, gather for 1,000 people or 2,000 people like that, the realm of emotions, machine are beginning to assimilate it and they'll begin to watch
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Look, there are machines that measure from your skin. They don't need to
Yeah.
touch you, just enter a room. It will
Yes.
measure the state of happiness you have in your mind from the dilation of your blood capillaries, or how excited you are. Now,
Yes.
so as coaches, we should be solving the problem of how to partner with those machines to manage moods of groups, to increase. I mean, if there is a wall sensor on an organization that can help us master emotional saturation and give us an aggregate of how many people were sad or how many times people's capillaries dilated at a certain level that meant anger. We can begin
Yeah.
to help organizations solve the problem of productivity using cultural
Yes.
intelligence. So this is the root
Depression.
of my thank you. This is the root of my begging to differ so that we can take a better solution. Not
Yeah.
because I want to show that yeah, I've gone to the material, I've read through it. No.
Yes.
So the ability to sieve what is important, to sieve ego from
Yeah.
knowledge, and to take positive reading from all the aggregate interactions on the table will help many coaches, including myself. So anyway, I hope I answered small. So that's an example of me reading deep in the room at ACW, and that it took a lot of energy because I didn't want to come across as I said, no, please, no, please, can I just make a little side bar there? I know what you're saying, but machines are learning emotions, and we're going to, by the way, need them to boost productivity. I didn't add that productivity part, but because I wanted to be like, look, we can begin to think how best to use machines if we know all the possibilities. But if we
Yeah.
say, no, this is not possible, that's not possible, and then we are arguing supremacy based on what's
Yeah.
possible, and I'm more than you and you're more than me, we're not
Yeah.
even able to capitalize on the conversation. So those are places I zone out of.
Yes.
Because how did you show? Oh no, I'll just zone out. But I'm sorry I'm saying that here. But anyway, I said of that to say that ACW was very
It's our
wonderful.
show now. We can say whatever we want.
But you know the people that are listening, And there are people that, however you think about it, they're just biased at you, and you make friends in life. You don't want to make too many enemies. So I say all of that anyway to give you my perspective. Wonderful event, and I hope that we can capitalize on the
Yes.
games.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's also a lot of fear. I think the people who say these things about, oh, AI cannot do this, don't worry, we still have a few more years. There's also some fear behind those words. Like, it's revealing people's shortcomings. It's revealing people's inability to adapt quickly. you know it's revealing people's some people have tied their identity and um their sense of achievement to how complex their work is and their solution is, and how they're navigating that complexity. Then you have this thing come and simplify everything, and it's like, so what do you mean? The thing that took me years now, somebody can just come from nowhere and it will take them one day or one week, and some people are just afraid, like, okay, what would that mean for this thing that I've built? And they're not able to make this shift as quickly. But I believe with time, coaches will do what coaches do. Eventually, um, they would learn and grow within their capacity. So it's nice hearing your thoughts on ACW. It was an interesting journey. We finish tomorrow with our YouTube live. So if you're here, feel free to join in. And any final thoughts on if you strip down the skills, any final, not the skills, the awards, the achievements, what is, I know you've mentioned listening skills. Yeah, apart from listening skills and the discernment, is there any other major skill that leaders would need for 2026? And then those will be your final words, and we can close.
Yes, for 2026, leaders we need co- co- competitive, collaborative intelligence, the ability to know when to compete,
Mm,
when to collaborate, and at what level.
yeah,
Is it 20% collaboration and 80% competition, or 50% collaboration, 50% competition, or zero collaboration in this case, 100% competition, and the ability to know where to switch with who and at what time.
mm,
But don't have outlier results. Fringes will succeed more than the whole. Your team members who you counted as outliers, 2026 will be their year. Your
yeah,
friends that are very useless, your friends that didn't have any, they don't have any good thing to offer you. They always the brain who you call empty-headed people, or my friend does not have connection. He's the one that will do well because it's a
yeah,
year of the outlier. It's a year of extremes where what used to work would not work. I have given you some examples already in Nigeria of that principle. For the first time, Nigeria used to be a tax haven. Oh, I don't want to pay sufficient tax. Oh, go to Nigeria. Don't understand the UK. Don't Nigeria is becoming now very tight with tax.
yeah,
That's an outlier concerning concerning the task of tax responsibility.
yes,
All of a sudden, is becoming a very viable ground for tax compliance.
yeah,
The solution will be to go to another outlier environment that you
mm,
never imagined. Go Benin Republic or Cotonou, you have to register your business in a place that's unlikely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I agree. And discernment and active listening will definitely help in making that
Thank you.
possible. Knowing who
Thank
to collaborate with, to what
yes,
degree, and
yes,
on what type of projects to
exactly.
collaborate on. So that brings a wholesome conclusion to our conversation today on skills. Very, very important. Um, and I would say, final words, that change is tough. Let's just take that as a it's now depends on how well you're able to give yourself grace and patience to go through that change. But to say that you won't change at all, change is happening anyway. You could be deteriorating or you could be growing. So either way, the change is happening. And AI is exciting. If you're afraid, you might as well just face your fears, name it, tame it, and move on with your goals. That's what I would say. Um, Coach David is very kind and subtle. I'm not. So thank you so much for joining in the conversation today. You can follow Coach David all across his social media at David Adeoye Abodure, and you can also follow me on my social media at CEO.VIP, or you can just Google our names and you will find us everywhere. We are visible like that. So thank you so much for joining this conversation. Uh, Keep up with us in your emails and on social media, and we'll let you know what we have in store for 2026. This has been a very juicy and very insightful conversation, and we look forward to your responses. Thank you so much and have a good evening.
Thank you too, and thanks for coming. We and now thank you everyone, and help us share on all your platforms. Thank you, Coach
Yes,
Funke.
the replay will be out.
Thank you so much.